Hello and welcome to this video on cross-mapping. To start, here is an overview of a standard FITBIR submission timeline. Today we are going to discuss defining data, specifically the process of cross-mapping. Defining data comes after sharing your case report forms with FITBIR operations and ensuring you have created your study profile and user accounts, and that your study is also collecting sufficient PII for GUID generation. At this point, you will begin perusing FITBIR's data dictionary for data elements and form structures matching your study's CRFs, a process called cross-mapping. Please see the video on data elements and form structures before beginning cross-mapping. Cross-mapping is the process of identifying form structures and data elements that correspond to the case report forms used to organize the data captured in the protocol. Here are components of the process: understanding the NINDS CDE project, knowing the FITBIR terms, evaluating your protocol, mapping on the form level, mapping on the data element level, and creating a data submission plan. First, you must understand the aims of the NINDS CDE project. The NINDS CDE project supports data standardization and was developed by working groups comprised of subject matter experts. Please see the FITBIR public site for more information on NINDS recommended outcomes and core CDEs for TBI research. Know your FITBIR data dictionary terms. Each unit of data has a data element to define its meaning and associated attributes. There are two types of data elements: common data elements, or CDEs. These are data elements created by the NINDS CDE project. And unique data elements, or UDEs. These are other data elements created by FITBIR users. Note, UDEs can be upgraded to CDEs. In FITBIR, the equivalent of your study's CRF is a form structure, which is simply a collection of data elements and their groupings. In this example, you can see a portion of the FITBIR form structure equivalent to the Glasgow Coma Scale. A repeatable group exists within a form structure and allows organization of data elements and the ability to submit multiple rows of the same data element. Next, you must evaluate your study's protocol. What data are you collecting? Did you consult the NINDS CDE list when developing your protocol? Is your data retrospective or prospective? You will then need to identify the form structures that match the outcomes you are using. Do this by creating a list of your assessments, searching the data dictionary, and identifying appropriate form structures. Note, you may have a neuropsychiatric outcome packet for your subjects. This may correspond to several FITBIR form structures. You may also be submitting genomic and imaging data, which also have corresponding form structures. There are two ways to search the data dictionary: before you create an account with the public-facing data dictionary, and after you create an account with the data dictionary module. Here are examples of how your study's CRFs may map to specific form structures in FITBIR. When you do have a matching form from the form level review, review the data elements at a more granular level. For example, what are their permissible values, definitions, and valid ranges? Identify if you are using the version contained within FITBIR and recommended by NINDS. Identify additional questions you may be collecting that are not part of the standard form structure as included in FITBIR. Let's take a look at the data element that corresponds to the eye-opening response item on the Glasgow Coma Scale. You can see that the FITBIR data element includes permissible values and a definition that corresponds to the eye-opening item in the CRF. Here's another example of mapping on the data element level for a CRF that is similar to the satisfaction with life scale. 5 of these questions correspond to data elements in the standard satisfaction with life scale form structure that exists within FITBIR. In addition, the FITBIR form structure provides another data element for total score. Notice that the additional questions in the CRF aren't included in the standard form. These would have to be added to a separate study-specific appendix for this form. If your data elements do not match as in the previous example, reach out to FITBIR Ops. Confirm the version within FITBIR was created correctly. If there was an error in the form development, the change will be made. Possible options include providing a rationale for additional questions and getting programmatic approval for an appendix form structure, or if you are using a more recent version of a form not yet recommended by NINDS, program can determine if the new version should be created. When you do not have a matching form from the form level review, search for existing data elements that match the data you are collecting and evaluate the forms they are contained within. Communicate with FITBIR operations and your grant funding agency about these forms to determine the best next step. Once you have completed the process for each form and data element, you will plan for when the data will be cleaned and ready for submission. Package up the forms and data elements you are using that do not conform that were identified in this process for programmatic review. This concludes the brief overview of cross-mapping in FITBIR. Please contact FITBIR operations if you require any assistance. Thank you.